Okay, should be recording. I'm going to put this over to the side. Inner Circle sales meeting, October 3rd. And look at that, I spelled most of it right. There's three things I want to cover today, folks. And the first one, I mentioned that I had a job last week in Newport, Rhode Island. I used to sail. I am a sailor, was a sailor. I used to sail into Newport, coming up from New Jersey, going to Block Island, Martha's Vineyard. I used to go to Hyannis. I used to go out to Nantucket. We were sailing all over this on this 27-foot Irwin sailboat out of New Jersey. And in a seminar, I used a company, a charter company called the Moorings. The Moorings is a big, big national company. And I used it as an example. And a young man out in the seats raised his hand and said, you know, you ought to use Sunsail. Sunsail is the Moorings competitor, and you ought to try us. That's what he said. You ought to try us. So I said, hey, it's all the same to me. I'll try Sunsail. So I ended up speaking to the Sunsail organization and bartering sailboats down in the Caribbean from that moment on. And I had the great luxury of sailing in the Caribbean, St. Martin, St. Bart's. We used to go down and charter, bartering these big sailboats. I think the biggest one we sailed was 56-foot sloop. Then we got into catamarans, and we had a great time for years bartering with this sailboat company. But it started with this guy raising his hand. So I think and then he left Sunsail, went to work for a company called Ronstan. Ronstan is an Australian-based company. And he sent me an email a couple of weeks ago saying, you know, I was talking to a friend of mine who wanted to change jobs, and I remembered a phrase you mentioned 10 years ago in a seminar, and I told him that phrase. It was the thank goodness it's today phrase versus thank goodness it's Friday. And he sent me an email saying, you know, I just wanted you to know that I used some of your stuff today, and I thought about you. And I said, how nice is that? So I sent him back an email. 2 weeks later, he emails me back and says, hey, can you come and speak to our sales meeting? We're having our annual sales meeting. So I said, I'd love to. So I went down to Newport this past week to an Australian-based sailboat equipment manufacturer, and it was called Ronstan. And I went through the slides. I thought, you know, maybe we could go through those slides quickly today. Quickly. I'm not going to bore you with the whole deal, but there's some slides here I think that the Inner Circle can benefit from. So what we're going to do, part one, go through these Ronstan slides. But remember, the guy, the owner, the president, the big shot, was from Australia. He flew in the night before. He flew direct into Dallas, a 15-hour flight. Gee, I can't even imagine that. And then he had to make a connection to Boston and then down to Newport. And there he was sitting next to me in the small sales meeting. And he shared this with us. He said, the owner of the company gave me this name badge when I joined the company, and he showed it. He had it in his hand, and the name badge had the letters on it that you see in front of you. And before we go any further, I just want to make sure that I'm on the right track. Roberta, since I know that your email's working, can you see those letters? I just want a confirmation that or Joe, I see just popped in. Can you see? Tell me if you can see the letters on the screen that begin. I can, Roberta. Okay, thanks. So I just want to make sure our machine's working correctly here. It's YCGBSOYA. That was a name badge that he had. He'd been carrying it around for 35 years. He showed it to us. And what it stands for is you can't get business sitting on your ass. That was the name badge he carried for 35 years. You can't get business just hanging around, hoping for it, wishing for it, thinking about it. You got to go out and do something. As Tom Peters said, you got to dig a hole. If you want to strike oil, dig a hole. There's two kinds of holes, holes with oil, holes that don't have oil. Dig a hole, and you're going to know what kind of hole you have. Make a phone call, send an email, send a letter. You can't get business sitting on your ass, ladies and gentlemen. And I said, well, boy, I don't even know you, man, from Australia, and you're talking my language because I happen to be the author of the 12-word marketing plan. And my 12 words is get up, get out, and make more people glad they know you. It's the same thing. Him and I were on the same page, and who knows that as a result of this, who knows, I may end up in Australia talking to headquarters down there. I don't know. Maybe I will. Maybe I won't. Who knows? But I mean, it was a fun deal. YCGBSOYA. You know what it means. And there's the company. Now, the company had three different divisions: the sailing division, and they sold lines and turnbuckles and cleats and things like that, blocks. And they realized that you make such good equipment to take a beating on a sailboat that maybe that same equipment you see on the right in the industrial side, maybe some of these things can be used in non-sailing environments. Okay, we make sailing equipment on the left, sailboat hardware, but we also, because it's stainless steel and it's so tough, we can sell it to other people. So they have another division where it's like stainless steel hardware, and they can sell it to anybody. And then there's a third division called architectural, and they sell it to architects who spec it in on a blueprint to new buildings. Okay, so you've seen, as an example, you've seen some of these new buildings with these wires coming out the side of the building anchored into cement. Well, that could be a sailboat equipment right there. So those are the three divisions. And I want you to niche. I want you to focus, but I also want you to think that what you do out there, who else can benefit from that? Who else can benefit from what you do? Now, I don't want you to get fragmented. I don't want you to go out, shooting in 1,000 different directions. But I think it's called leverage, is that whatever you do, if you make sailing equipment, who else might use that? And for example, just picture this guy wire on a sailboat, holding the mast up. Well, think about it. Maybe Cirque du Soleil could use that same wire. I don't know, or the same cleat that holds the wire, that fastens the wire. So it's manufactured for a sailboat mast, but Cirque du Soleil might use it, or some roller coaster, or someone who really depends on the integrity of this device to save lives. So that was them. So I'm back to you. What can you do, or what are you doing that maybe, just maybe, someone else might find to be of interest? And it's called leverage. So I just want you to keep your eyes and ears open. And I gave him a piece of paper, and I shared him my Spinnaker story. And those who know me pretty well know what the Spinnaker story is. It's the motivation. It's my motivation once upon a time was a sail. I wanted to buy a sail, a Spinnaker. That was my motivation, not a cruise, not time off, not a office with a window. I wanted a sail. Well, I asked them to, on a piece of paper, to write down their Spinnaker. What floats your boat? What gets you up in the morning? What's important to you? Not what's important to me. And if you're on the phone today, write down right in front of you on a piece of paper, what drives you? What makes you get up at 4 in the morning and stay up till midnight to work to get that next piece of business? Is it your kids? Is it your spouse? Is it the family? Is it your car payment? Is it your vacation budget? Is it your bucket list? I don't know what drives you. But whatever it is, it's not coming from me. It has to come from you, and that's the Spinnaker. That's your Spinnaker. And that might change from year to year, but you need to identify what drives you, what really floats your boat and gets you going. I reminded them that people forget 45% of what they hear in 24 hours, and they forget most of it in a day and a half. So there's the importance of writing things down. But in your case, when you tell somebody something, when you meet with somebody, you got to remember they're going to forget you and whatever you said quickly, unless you memorialize it. Is that the right word? Memorialize? Maybe it is. That you write it down. You follow up with it. This is what we talked about yesterday. That's why you put things in notes and you document information and then give it back to people. Why? Because we're getting old and we all forget things. And then I showed them a slide here. We watch football games on Sunday, and we say, okay, it's an hour of football, and these guys probably practice an hour and a half during the week. But no, that's not how it works. These guys are in meetings 8 hours a day looking at film, studying, rehearsing. Now, I went to school. I know this is true. I mean, I'm not guessing here. I think that's an NFL team. I don't know who it is. When they're not practicing at 4 to 5:30, they're in those chairs at 9 in the morning. And from this room, they'll go into different rooms and study and practice and learn and read and go over and over again. Now, a football a game has about 60 offensive plays, give or take a few. And I know this to be true. In a small college where I played ball, we used to go in Monday, and we used to look at one play. The coach rewound it. We saw that one play 50 times, and there's 60 plays. Back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. They studied, they learned. Why am I telling you this? Because you have to study. You have to learn. If you want to be the best, if you want to be the Wayne Gretzky of the Super Bowl or the Michael Jordan or whatever it is, you want to be the best in the business, you have to study and you have to learn. And then when you're out in front of somebody, then it's showtime. Now it's game time. Now we're having fun. When I'm on stage, I have fun, but for every hour on stage, there's 20 hours in my basement rehearsing and studying and writing and rewriting and practicing and tweaking and practicing in an opening line. And that's what it is. And that's why I wanted to show them that. And then, of course, I went back onto my Olympics, and we've covered this, so I'm not going to belabor this point, but you got to make a decision, folks. You want to be good? Make a decision. You want to double your business? Make a decision. Don't teetotal it. I am going to do this. And I'm going to do whatever it takes, and I'm on a mission. This is going to be it. I'm going to make this happen. And if it's your business, I am going to make this business work. I am going to go get that account. Take a little sip of water there. And then you got to do something every day, not when the sun shines, every day. Focused action every day to make your decision work. So there you go there. Make a decision. Now, let me tell you something that I'm just going to back up a second. The boss of this Australian company there, I see it up there in the top, he started talking, and he started sharing that, let me just read some of these notes here, that the sailboat, these people sell stuff for sailboats. Okay, that's what they do. That's how they feed their families. They sell stuff for sailboats. But the sailboat industry is going down the tubes. People aren't selling that because of the economy, that they're not buying boats. They're not building boats. So what's happening, the downturn, 20,000 units. Okay, in 10 years ago, they made 20,000 sailboats. This year, they made 6,000. Okay, so these people sell stuff for new boats. Now, there's also replacement equipment, of course. And then there's 18.5 thousand years ago. There's 4.6 thousand. So it went from 18 to 4,000. That's incredible. And that's scary. And when I heard this sailboat industry talking about how their industry is going the wrong way because of the economy, I couldn't help but think of you guys with all our excuses. You know, why people aren't doing this, why they're not doing that. The Dow Jones is going down, real estate going down, people unemployed. I mean, yes, that's what's happening. It's the year 2012, okay? So we can't do anything about that. I can't make people buy a sailboat. And if I'm selling sailboat equipment, I can't make people buy a sailboat. I can't do anything about the economy. But I can decide that, hey, I'm not going out of business. I'm going to do what it takes to keep my travel company in business. And I know I have one customer, so I'm going to go get two customers. And I know somebody's going on a river cruise, and I'm going to go find that person, and I'm going to introduce myself to them, because if they don't know I'm alive, they can't possibly do business with me. My biggest problem, not enough people know I'm alive, so I'm going to go out and meet more people. I'm going to get up, I'm going to get out, I'm going to make more people glad they know me. That's what I'm going to do. And that's what I told these guys to do. So your industry or sailboats, you're in the same game. You're in a tough, competitive game. Now, talk about competition. Harkin and Lumar, they're the big ones. These guys are like 5% of the market. They're little guys, but they still have a family to feed. So I don't care who you're up against, Expedia, Travel, I don't care about that stuff. Your problem is not enough people know you're alive, or when you do meet somebody, you don't look them in the eye. You don't come across as a cool person. And we got to take action. There's that slide there. So let's move on. Speed wins, folks. Answering the phone, answering emails, getting back with people, sending proposals, sending flyer letters, getting up in the mornings. Get up 10 minutes early in the morning. Go to bed 10 minutes later. Read a book that's going to help your career. Speed wins. We have to get faster at what we're doing. I'm not suggesting you become a workaholic. I'm not suggesting that. But whatever hours you want to put on the job, focus. Get good at it. Get a little bit better at it. I showed him this fella here in the running picture. Look at his hands. Look at his hands that are straight up and down. His thumbs are tucked. Well, that's just so we can get just 1/100% less air resistance. I mean, that's nuts. That's crazy. And yet that's what you do. So you have to find little tiny ways to get a little bit better. Not a lot, but a little better at what you do, a little faster, a little eye contact, one more question, one more phone call. Just a little bit better, because I introduced what was called Kaizen to them. But before I did, let's look at this screen. I showed them a couple of pictures like this. I'm only going to show you one, I think. Maybe they're there. The victory and the gold medal is very small. Look at that, less than 1 second, 0.7 of a second. In the Indy race, it's 1.54 seconds over 500 miles. And look at the winner. The winner wins twice as much as the second place guy by being less than 2 seconds faster over 500 miles. That, I'm talking to you. We just have to be a little bit better. Let's look at golf. The average margin of victory the last 25 years in all major tournaments combined was less than 3 strokes. That's over a 4-day tournament. That's 280 shots. 3 strokes over 4 days over 25 years makes the difference. That's us. Now, don't tell me it's not us. That's just going to be. That's why you haven't doubled your business yet. There we are there. We have to find little tiny ways to get better at what we do. And then I brought this guy into the picture. He won the FedEx Cup. Now this man, he won $11.5 million. It's Brandt Snedeker. He won a lot of money playing golf at the FedEx Cup. Now he has a coach. And I asked the guy in the audience, I said, you're his coach. Okay, Matt, you're his coach. What are you going to tell this guy? He just won $11 million and you're his coach. So he's paying you to do something. So go do something. Tell him something. What are you going to tell him? I asked him, I said, could this guy beat his coach? Sure, he could beat his coach. Does this guy know how to play golf? Sure, he knows how to play golf. He just won $11 million in 1 day. So you're the coach. What are you going to tell him? Well, what you're going to do as the coach is you're going to look at the films and you're going to start looking for little tiny areas where you can improve. I'm not going to teach you how to play golf. He knows how to play golf. I'm not going to teach him how to hold a club. He knows how to hold a club. I'm going to work on the little tiny areas. Maybe his mindset. Maybe his mind drifted at the 12th hole. Let it get away from him for a minute. Maybe he lost his temper once. I don't know what he did. But little tiny areas, that's what you're going to do. And you're going to be the same thing. You're going to look for little tiny areas. You're going to focus on the task. And your task is to getting to meet more people. Emphasize and refine your skills, your writing skills, your communication skills, your travel skills of geography. The more you know, the more questions you ask, your questioning skills, your listening skills. Those are your skills as a professional. And you're going to look for little tiny ways to improve. Now, I asked, why you? Why should I buy anything from you? Why should I go on a honeymoon with you? Why should I take my family on vacation with you? Now, here's what I told them. If you tell me why you're so good, I'm going to discount it. So here's what I said to them. We have found that the architectural engineers who have chosen to do business with this outfit called Ronstan, they choose us to solve one of the following problems. And then you list the problems. They choose us because they have found us to be very good at solving the following problems, A, B, or C. So, why should I do business with you, Mr. and Mrs. Travel Agent? Well, we've found that families who have chosen to do business with my company do so to solve one of the 3 problems. One of the problems is to maintain a budget that they can live with. One of the problems is to make sure we dot all the I's so there's no surprises when they're away from home. One of the reasons is because whatever the reason is. Now, you may have 2 reasons. You may have 1 reason. You may have 4. Don't give me 7 reasons. I don't want to hear 10 reasons. If you come up with 3, that's good. But why do families choose you? Because we have solved these problems. Now, that was the architectural example. Here's the industry equipment example. The demands placed on families when they go on vacation. Let's see, demands placed on the product make it a natural to satisfy other important purposes. So our experience with families going on vacation make us a natural for a honeymooner. See, that's what we're doing there. Our non-clients find that we consistently provide A, B, and C. So what you're doing is you're putting the answers into the mouths of the people who are satisfied with you. Our non-selling clients find, I'm not telling them, they find that we are consistent when we provide the following services. Hope that makes sense to you. Sailboat manufacturers and boat owners share similar concerns, 1, 2, and 3. Families and honeymooners share similar concerns. People on corporate little small businesses going on trips, going on trade shows share similar concerns. These customers enjoy the fact that we consistently provide them with boom, boom, boom. So I hope that gives you something to think about. Is we're flipping it. We're flipping the answer. Our clients have found that we satisfy the major concerns that they have, which are A, B, C, and I believe we can do the same for you. And that's why you should do business with me. There's one of their competitors, Lumar. There's one of their other competitors, both bigger than them. I did use this slide saying, hey, if you want to make the world a better place, take a look in the mirror and make a change. That's a song by Michael Jackson. And it's the same thing with us. If we want to get better, let's look at us. How can I get better? I can't change the world, but I can change me. And persistence. Look at this. They did the Emmys not long ago, and Mad Men. I never saw the movie, but it's about Madison Avenue guys, advertising guys in New York. They had 17 Emmy nominations and 0 wins. 17. You'd think they'd win 1 out of 7. There's 0. And it reminded me of Susan Lucci. She was 0 for 17, but on her 18th time, she won. And you're saying, Mike, why are you showing me this stuff? Well, I'm showing it to you because you may be 0 for 2, 0 for 3, 0 for 5, 0 for 7, 0 for 10. Where are you going? So keep going. Keep throwing those flyer letters out. Keep ringing those doorbells. Keep sending those emails. Keep at it. Keep at it. If you go away, I'll put you in the go away category. You really didn't want my business in the first place. But if you stick with me, you're really making an impression on me. Not this time, but just hang around. You'll get the business. And then, this outfit was a small company, just like you're small. And remember when the United States beat the Russians in hockey? Upsets happen, folks. Don't tell me you're small. I don't care how small you are. You keep knocking on those doors. This guy was an Australian. I put this, I don't know, no one remembers this but me. That's Ono or Yoko. Who's the speed skater? I don't know. There he is lying on the right there. It was Yoko, Ono, something like that. But in any event, these guys, the 2 Japanese guys on the left, and Ono, I guess that's his name, I forget. But they were racing the short speed skating. They go round circle in these speed skates real quick. And the Australian, he was last, and he got into the finals because 2 people were eliminated for some reason. So here's a guy from Australia who gets into the finals on a mistake. He didn't earn it. He was a mistake. So now he's in the finals, and he's racing around behind these 3, and these 3 that are on the ice wiped out. And he was the only one standing. He was way behind, so he wasn't in the accident. So they're all flying across the ice. He skates through and wins the gold medal. That's an Australian gold medal guy right there in front of you. He was last the whole race. I love that. Ladies and gentlemen, as you keep on your feet, you keep skating, you keep running, you keep writing, you keep emailing, you keep doing what you're doing, and you're going to win. Now, you may take a mistake from the guy in front of you, but they make mistakes. But as long as you're in position, you can win. I love this. The Australian gold medal. He shouldn't have won, but he did. Okay, So very quickly, I'm going to go through some of these slides. As a matter of fact, I'm going to do these same slides next week in Denver. But these are slides. Visualize what next thinking. When you get a client, I'm going to meet them. What do I do next? Then what do I do next? And it's a sequence of events that you walk people through the relationship. I say, hi, my name's Mike. That's step one. Would you like a cup of coffee? That's step two. How about dinner? Step three. How about a movie? Step four. And you sequence through your steps until the person feels comfortable with you and trusts you, and then eventually you get married. I mean, that's how it's a sequence of events. Now, people fall away at certain steps. After step three, they go away. So that's okay. You have enough people that you're sequencing through the relationship that some of them are going to end up as your customers. And Merlin Olsen, the NFL All-Pro guy, said, when I'm not practicing and my competitor is, when we meet, he will beat me. That was Merlin Olsen's quote. We have to practice. We have to audio ourselves and video ourselves and record ourselves and get better at what we do and look people in the eye and practice. And we have to continually go to trade shows and seminars and workshops just to get a little bit better each time. Not a lot. Don't double your effectiveness, a little bit better. And I raised the issue with these guys that if you increase your effectiveness just 1% each day, you can work this out on an Excel spreadsheet if you want, but if you increase 1% each day, in 70 days, you will double your effectiveness. Whatever your number is, if you multiply it by 1.1, 1% better every day, or 1.01, I don't know what it is, then 1% better, you will double in 70 days. But we got to practice every day. And this is a repeat here. Speed wins, folks. Think about that. Be the first one to call people back. Be the first one to answer the phone. And then we need a balanced attack. These are all Olympic slides, and this is the balance beam. But ASK stands for attitude, skills, and knowledge. And we have to run a balance. We have to have the right attitude, but the right attitude alone just makes us a kind of a fun moron to be around. We need skills. We need our skills, our writing skills, communication skills, follow-up skills. And we need knowledge. We have to know our business. We have to know our territory. So we have to balance these three, and it's ask, attitude, skills, and knowledge. And then we have to celebrate. Holy cow. These guys, Ronstand's the name of the company, these guys, they're really good. They're really good. But all they do is say, okay, next month, next month. I said, no. You have to back up, pop the champagne, and celebrate. When you get a new account, I want celebration. This is hard. When you get an appointment, I want celebration. When you score a goal in soccer, I want you to mug your teammates. When you score a point in beach volleyball, I want you to give each other a high five. I mean, that's all celebration. It's so hard today to do what we want to do, to incrementally go through the motions, that if you don't celebrate, you're going to burn yourselves out. So I want some more celebration out there. And teamwork. Teamwork. You have organizations that you belong to. Depend on them. Work on them. Ask questions. I know a lot of you out there belong to different organizations, but you don't have to go it alone. Hey, the inner circle. You're part of the inner circle. You don't have to go it alone. So you can ask questions. I'm here for you to ask a question for if you need it. So use your team if you're a one-man band, especially if you're home alone, working out of your house alone. It's tough. You got to get out of your house, and you got to pick up the phone and call people when your batteries start going down, and use your team. And then it's the overcoming obstacles. Life is a sine wave, and that means it goes up and down and up and down. We go over hurdles. The smart runners is to get over that hurdle faster. When you're on the ground, you're the fastest. When you're in the air, you're the slowest. So when you go over a hurdle, get over it fast. Don't wait till Friday. Don't wait till Monday. You have a problem with a customer, pick up the phone. Deal with it. Get over that hurdle. Get over the problem. Get over the issue. Get over the concern. I got to make that phone call. Make the phone call. Get over it. Because the faster you're over it, the faster you'll be back on the ground, and you'll be running fast again. And you got to be coachable. Now, this one stings. This one stings me. It stings you. It stings everybody, because we like to do things right. and we don't like it when somebody calls our attention that we're not doing it right. It's just the way it is. But think of it not as criticism. Think of it as coaching. That when I tell you, well, here's one. Let me tell you this. That I'm going to say this blanket across the airways, just so I'm not addressing anybody, because I don't think anybody on the line here. I don't know who's on the line, but I don't know if you do this. But for example, a lot of people confuse advise and advice. It's a simple letter, and I'm not. Look who's talking. The guy who doesn't know how to spell anything. But if I said to you, it's not you wanted to say advice, that's ICE, and you wrote down advise, it would hurt your feelings. It would, and therefore I don't do it. I don't tell people that when they write that. I mean, it happens every single day. That particular word. There's other words too, but that particular word, advise, ISE, and advice, ICE, they're confused a lot. So, but I don't tell them because I don't want to embarrass them. So therefore, they continue to do it wrong. Now that I could straighten them out so they don't get embarrassed with the wrong person. I don't care if you get embarrassed with me. I'm your coach. Get embarrassed with me. Get mad at me. Get upset with me. I don't care. I don't want you to be upset with a client who calls you on it. So you've got to be coachable. You got to say, hey, be candid with me. There's an old saying: don't trust anybody that won't call you a blankety blank to your face. Well, that's the coach. I'm not here to be liked. You want to be liked by a dog. I'm here to make you professionals. So you want a coach who will tell you the way it is, not the way you just want to hear it. Anyway, leverage. Half over is not over. You got to get over the thing. You got to get over the bar. You got to finish strong. They say first impressions are lasting. They're not lasting. First impressions are important. Lasting impressions are lasting. How you finish the meeting, how you leave the meeting, how you last the next 6 months. I met you once at a cocktail party. You seemed like a nice person. 6 months later, I find out you're a schmuck. So you got to last through the relationship. But leverage, and I think I spoke to you about this before, is the distance gained with each effort. Okay, in swimming, it's the distance per stroke, not the number of strokes. In long-distance skating, you see them glide left and glide right. That's because it's the distance per stroke that determines the speed. And with you have to figure out the maximum effect you can get from everything you do. If you go someplace, what's the maximum effect I can get from that? I'm going to go, so how can I squeeze that trip to the max? If I'm going to the trade show, who do I want to meet? Not these 2 people. How can I meet these 10 people? Because I'm going to be in San Diego. So that's the leverage way of thinking. And then the discipline. And that's where we all, I think in our meeting at that other day, and we're going to get off this now, one guy said, engineers are lazy. I said, engineers are not lazy. I said, I take exception to that. Engineers are not lazy. People are lazy. Everybody's lazy. And it doesn't make you bad. It makes you people. Everyone wants the path of least resistance. They want the shortcut. They don't want to go the long route. Well, discipline is going the long route. Discipline is being that Olympic athlete. I don't want to train. When I was training for an event years ago, the hardest part was getting off the couch. I don't want to get off the couch. And you've all been in that position where you join a health club. Once you're in the health club, you love it. The music's playing, you're exercising, your heart rate's up, and this is kind of cool. But it's getting to the gym that's the hard part. It's getting out of the chair that's the hard part. It's getting into the swimming pool that's the hard. Once you're in the pool, you love it. But everything's telling you, don't go to the pool, man. Don't go to the pool. That sounds like too much work. I'd rather watch Seinfeld reruns. So the discipline. Once we make our decision to be the best that we can be, and once we make it a mission to get there and no one's going to get in our way, we then have to exercise discipline, and then we have to do something every day. So that's how that works. Okay. So I thought that was worthwhile going through. And so let's segue. Let me, first of all, go over here. And does anybody have any questions? Anybody? Apollo Ono. There it is. Apollo. I knew that. I said Ono, didn't I, Angel? I said Ono. I thought I had that right. But yeah, Apollo Ono. There's the guy. Okay, perfect. Hey, there's teamwork right there. Me and Angel Rosario, we know all the names. Anybody have a question before we go on to the next phase? I'm going to give you 2 seconds here. I'm looking down. Yeah, and a very famous, well, actually, he was from Montclair. The very famous New Jersey philosopher once said, "It ain't over till it's over." Who said that? Anybody know? I know who said that. Who said that? It ain't over till it's over. Yogi Berra said that. That was a yogiism. Okay. All right, so I want to go over to the next phase, and you should see it on your screen now. Tell me, Joe, do you see the blog trick on your screen? Tell me if you see that, and we'll move on. Somebody pipe in. Oh, did I lose you out there? Somebody online, somebody type in that if you can see the page that says a simple blog trick. Let's see. Yes, okay, there you go. Linda, hey, thanks, Linda. Very good. Joe, 2 yeses. Okay, must be loud and clear. Okay, great. All right, so we all know what blogs are. And a lot of people come to me and they say, Mike, should I get a blog? Well, yes and no. Yes and no. Blogs are good. But what a blog is, it's a web log. It's a journal. Your website differs in the fact that a website is kind of like a brochure where you give factual information. A blog, on the other hand, is like your opinion. You can say it's yours. It's your journal. You can say anything you want. I can't call you on it because it's your personal journal. So a blog is kind of, I'm going to call it like I see it. Now, if you like it, that's great. If you don't like it, then you can respond and we can have a dialogue back and forth. You can banter back and forth. So it's a journal. And they say, should I have one? Well, yes, you should have one, but I don't want you spending a lot of time and 5 hours a day blogging. I want you out meeting people. But before you start a blog, I want you to do what this particular suggestion is, and that is to respond to blogs. You don't have to have a blog to make a point. You can read other people's blogs and either agree with them or disagree or bring in some new information. And that's what this says here. It says, aside from helping you create a connection with a blog's author, which it does. I mean, if I have a blog and you respond to me, I'm going to read you and say, hey, that's Phyllis responding to my blog. That's a good point. I'm going to get back to Phyllis, and all of a sudden now we have interaction back and forth. So the Google blog search is a place you can go to look at blogs that are already in action. You don't have to do anything. They're there. They're out there. You decide if it's the type of blog that you want to read, you want to go to. Now, you can go to, like, Travel Research has it, but who's on those? Those are all your competitors are on there. Those are fellow travel agents. And probably Travel Weekly probably has one, and Travel Agent has one, and a lot of people in the industry have these blogs, but what they are agent talking to agent. In other words, your competitors. But if you go to Google blog search, for example, and go to horse trainers or sailboat operators, sailors, or train operators or train hobbyists, or whatever your topic is, you go plug that in, and you're going to see blogs that people who have an interest in that particular subject go to. So you are then going to pick one or pick two. For example, Roberta, you would go to trains, because I know that trains are very important to you. So you'd go and you put in trains, either freight trains or passenger trains or historic trains, whatever it is, one rail, different gauge trains. I don't know what I'm talking about. But you go there, and then you start reading other people's journals, blogs. And then you say, boy, that's a great point. Did you ever think of this? And then you respond to it, and you get a dialogue. So that is a way of getting into the blog game and making known that you are an expert. And in your blog, you can then put your URL. You can put a link back to your web page. Now, the ideal way of doing it would be you comment on the blog and say, I have a white paper on that exact subject go to my website to get it. So so you're going into the blog, finding some commonality, common interest, and then suggesting that the people, I don't know if there's 2 people reading that blog or 20,000, who knows, but now you're inviting them back to your website to pick up that free piece of information. Now follow this. Follow this and follow it closely. I said you go into a blog that you're interested in, you read it, you give it some information, and then you invite them back to your URL, your web page, to pick up a piece of information. But you don't have a piece of information yet back at your website. And I think right from the beginning, I've been talking to you about getting a piece of information. I got, my special reports. Hey, I have this 12-word marketing plan. Come and get it. I have my elevator speech. Come and get it. I have 10 mistakes salespeople make. Come and get it. I have things that I can drive people and get their email so I can start engaging them in conversation. Well, remember, I said that you can write it because you're smart enough to do that, but if you decide not to, you can go to either elance.com and have somebody write it for you. You can say, hey, listen, can you write me a 5-page special report? And they'll say, yes, I'll do the research, I'll write it for you, it'll cost you $100. Or if you really don't care what it looks like in the beginning, you're going to do the editing, go to 5RR. We talked about that. Find a writer and say, look, I want to write a little special report on this. Can you get it started for me for $5? And they will. Then you edit it. You make it better. But it's already there to be made better. Okay, so you can get this done if you want. And that's what this is talking about, is not starting your own blog, going into other people's blogs, responding with expertise. I have found, for example, the last time I went to Newport, Rhode Island, I found this great bed and breakfast up on Clark Street called the Clarkston Inn, across from the Cleveland House, and bada boom, boom, boom. Okay, and then you can say, I also have a special report on Newport B&Bs. If you'd like it, send me your email. I'll send it to you. So that's how that would work. So that's the blog idea. Then I saw something that I wanted to share with you on email tips or newsletters. And I know that a lot of you talk about newsletters and communicating regularly. I used to go out every Monday with Mike's Monday morning message for 10 years. Every Monday I would send something out. That was a newsletter. That's an e-zine, whatever you want to call it. But here's what the tips are. If you're going to do it, be consistent. Don't tell me once a week if you're not going to do it once a week. If it's once every 2 weeks, if it's once a month, if it's once a quarter, if it's once a year, just make sure that you're consistent in what you think you can do. Keep it clear and simple and easy to scan. You don't have to be, these constant contact emails. Now, these guys do these e-zines, these newsletters, and I can't believe that people read it. I just can't believe that people read top to bottom on this newsletter. I just can't believe it. Now, they might. I don't know. I could be wrong. But I'm saying pick a subject, pick a topic, and comment on it. Write a letter that has news in it. And if you have 2 pieces of news, then you have 2 pieces of news. But it doesn't have to be, 38 inches of constant contact newsletter. Just tell me something that you think I should know. And then here's the important part. Don't give me fluffy stuff. Don't tell me that RCL has, cabins that are 13 feet. Tell me something I want to know. Deliver content that people want to read about. Okay? Now, how do you know what that is? Well, you can be looking at the news every day and seeing what people are writing about, and then pick up on it. Glance through the Boston Globe, glance through the New York Times, glance through the Wall Street Journal, glance through People magazine, find out what they're writing about, and when it has to do with travel, then you can piggyback on that particular topic, because people smarter than us are writing about topics that they researched. Send a test mail to yourself to make sure your formatting is correct. Now, that's directed to me. I should be more embarrassed than I am. I guess I'm too old to be overly embarrassed, but I make more spelling errors and typos, and I just I don't know. I'm trying to get better at it. That's all I can say. But Sometimes I want to get the information out so fast that there's going to be a miscue. But number 5 is telling you don't do that, and I should probably have that tattooed to my forehead right there. Always ask permission. Okay, now there's something. It's called permission marketing. Now, permission marketing states that people give you permission to send them an email. But think about it. There has to be a starting point. There has to be an initial point where I'm going to send you something that you didn't ask for, because I'm going to ask you, do I have permission? So there's going to be that cold call. But in general, you want people to say, okay, send me your stuff. Now, here's the tongue-in-cheek, and I don't know, we could probably debate this. If you ask me for my special report, you come to me and say, Mike, I want that special report. Are you giving me permission to email you? Now, that's an interesting debate, because you're really not. You're saying, I want here, send me that special report. That's what I want. But most marketers on the internet today take that as open game. Okay, if you ask for me one thing, I now can send you more stuff. Now, that we can debate that. I don't want to debate it today, but we can. Now, the secret is don't send them things that aren't in their best interest. Now, if your car's on fire and I send you a fire extinguisher and you don't want it, then that's your business. But I thought you might want it. So once somebody gives you the email, you say, now, is this good stuff? Am I bothering this guy, or is this good information? I think it's pretty good information. I'll take a shot. Now, if they want to opt out, they can do that. I'm really amazed at more people who just don't read it. Delete it. If you don't like the TV channel on 10 o'clock on Channel 2, then don't look at it at 10 o'clock on Tuesday night. Don't write a 15-page letter of how the hell the world's going to hell in a handbasket. Just don't look at it. But some people do. That's their mission in life. Okay. I'm sure I'm raising some cackles on somebody's neck on these, but I always ask permission if I can do something for you. Keep your list or database clean. Now, that's another questionable one. See, keep it clean. Yeah, I have 2,500 people on my list. When I send something out, 2,500 people don't get it. I mean, they've either gone away, they're out of the business. There's reasons they're not interested anymore. However, it doesn't cost me a penny to keep that email on that list. It doesn't cost me anything. And one day, I just might hit them at the right day, the right hour where they're looking for what I'm doing. So why not keep it on? But this is saying clean them up. Now, believe me, I want to clean it up. I want to send the 2,500, 2 people read my stuff. I want a list of 2 people because I know that they want my stuff and the other ones don't. But it's not costing me anything to have the others on there, so I keep them on. So that's a questionable one. I don't take the time. It take hours and hours and hours to clean it up. And even with you folks, when I send you something, you say, I'm already part of the inner circle. Well, that's okay. It'll take me 15 hours to get your name off a list. Just don't open it. I know, you're on it. Okay, it's all right. Monitor your reports. Okay, so now we have 10 minutes left. I wanted to touch on this. This was one of our members sent us a sales letter, and he asked me to take a look at it. And I said, I'd be happy to. I'm going to look at it a little bit further, but I wanted to share with you today. Before we get into this, are there any questions? Anybody have anything else? Okay, I'm going to get onto the sales letter now. Boom, boom. Okay, so stand by. So I want to go through this. This is exactly the way it was written to me, sent it to me. And what we want to do is we want to do a lunch and learn, because lunch and learns are pretty good. That's when I come in and I educate your people over a pizza on Bermuda, whale watching in Alaska, the Panama Canal, or whatever it is. So be careful, though, and I'm going to just pick out some spots here that we can all identify with. Travel is my business, and I want to help your business with a travel presentation and a couple other suggestions. Now, I'm not suggesting that's the opening line for this person's sales letter, but it's the opening sentence that they sent me. Travel is my business. Well, who cares what your business is? I don't care what your business is. I care what my business is. If you want to get someone's attention, enter the conversation they are already having with themselves, and they're not talking about you. So if you come in to talk about you, you're dead in the water because they don't care about you. They care about them. They care about their business. They care about their family. They care about their vacation. They care about their budget. They care about them. So if you want to get into and talk to somebody, think about what's going through their head. And what's going through someone's head that's going as a lunch and learn is, how can I improve my employees' productivity? How can I get so-and-so not to quit? That's what they're thinking. So if that's what they're thinking, then you want to enter the conversation that you have in their mind. Most companies are looking for ways to increase the value that they can deliver to their employees. With that in mind, a lunch and learn session might be exactly what you're looking for. You know, something like that. So you say most companies are concerned about this. So you don't open up with my business. Interested in a lively lunch and learn presentation? No, I'm not interested in a lunch and learn conversation. I'm interested in keeping my employees happy. You can put the smiles back on your employee's face if you deliver a whale watching program, whatever. So you can do this to them with what I have. Did you see the difference? I'm just trying to help you flip it around. Not I am available to speak. Nobody wants to hear anybody speak. Your folks will get excited about Alaska. Your folks will see the upsides and the downsides of cruising through the Panama Canal. Your people will see for the first time the inside of a submarine. I don't know. But you see, you, not I. I can show you how. I want my people. I want to flip that. So that's the primary message I want to deliver there. And then the PS. Now, when you write a sales letter, folks, here's a good example. Just put it down, go get a cup of coffee, come back, and read how many times you use the pronoun I. All right? Now, there's no number to be had, but just notice how many times you'll resort to the pronoun I. And what I want you to do is go back and take that sentence and rejuggle it with the pronoun you. And we all do it. It's so easy to write about I, me, and we. Well, circle it and then say, how can I say the same thing by using a different pronoun? Looking at, now the letter goes on. And dear business owner, the first word, I, there it is right there. And then the second sentence, me, right there. Okay? And then I'll. It just goes right through. If at the end of those sentences, I've wasted your time, I'll hand out. See, so it's a great exercise, because what you do is look down at, have you a guarantee or an appointment? Probably not, but since what I have to share with you, so I feel perfectly, we meet. So it's just an exercise of going after pronouns, I versus you. Okay, that's number one. Number two, if you give me 12 minutes, I'll show you how to double your productivity. Well, that's insane. That's what are you, Superman? You don't even know what my problems are. Number one, you don't know what my problems are. Number two, you don't know me because you called me business owner. You have nothing. You know nothing about me, and you're telling me that in 12 minutes you can double my productivity. That what you're really doing is calling me a moron. That's what you're really doing. So we don't want that. Okay, and I'm not picking on the guy who wrote this letter. I'm just using this as a sample of hold on a second. I'm going to turn that off. Then what I want in this letter is say, have you ever heard of a guarantee? Well, yeah, be careful. Be careful how you phrase that, because in this particular case, it almost sounds like, to me, and this is to me, and I'm being a little facetious here, but it almost sounds like a bribe. You know, I'm bribing you to meet with me. Well, I want you to meet with me because I can help you. I believe I can help. I want to find out if I can help you. That's what I want to do. I want to find, maybe I can't, but I like to find out. I'm going to ask you a couple of questions, and I'm going to determine in those few minutes if I can help you. If I can help you, and we both agree on that, I'll stay. If I can't help you, then I'll get out of the way, you know. And then so you don't need a bribe. I think people are too busy for bribes today. I think there's a great saying. There's a great saying by Minnesota Fats, the pool player, that Howard Cosell interviewed him once after he lost a pool tournament. He said, "Fats, Minnesota Fats, the pool shark." He said, "Fats, you didn't win the trophy. How do you feel?" And the Fats said, very cool line. He goes, "Hey, Howard, if I wanted a trophy, I'd go buy one." I mean, these guys are busy. When people are busy today, and they're smart today because they have Google and they have the internet, and you pick out any place that they're going on vacation, I guarantee you they know more about the place than you do. So you can't guarantee me anything. I think I can help you, and I want to find out if I can help you. You know, can we arrange an appointment so I can come in? I don't want to waste your time. I want to find out if I can help you. And that's the kind of thing that we want. Then what did I write in red there? You see, offering amazing but very low-cost travel incentives to your employees actually lowers overhead expenses and dramatically increases your profits faster than any other productivity strategy there is. Well, see, I don't think you know that. I don't think you know that. So we have to be careful that what we're doing in sales letters today is we're trying to get too clever. And I don't want you to get clever. I want you to get I want you to be yourself. I like to come in and introduce myself to you because there's two kinds of people. I can either help you or I can't. Let's find out who you are. And I'm not going to get in your way, and I'm not going to waste your time. If I can help you, I'll stay. If I can't, I'm down the road. And that's what we want to do. Now, we want to put that in a phraseology that will be read, connected with, and implemented, responded to. That's what a sales letter is. It's not to be clever. It's not to use phraseology that sounds really cute. And I hope I didn't embarrass the person who sent this because I don't want to. We can take this letter and we can sculpt it into a nice fine-tuned program. And when we do, then we'll put it back up and we'll show you the before and the after. But I just wanted to use this primarily, count the pronouns I versus we versus you. Don't get cute. Don't guarantee something that you can't. Don't say something that you don't know anything about. And that being said, in your sales letter, know something about the company. So there you can reference it. You can reference that. For example, this Ronstadt company, I found out that they are thinking about putting a production company in Asia. So if I went to the president and said, "Mr. President, I hear that you're investigating Asia as a possible manufacturing site." Well, if I said that in my opening sentence, I would get his attention because it looks like I did my homework, which I did do my homework. So in your sales letter to get someone's attention, you mention that, I see your child was just accepted at the University of Connecticut. Congratulations. Well, you open up a letter like that and they will read it. Not, hey, I could save you 257%, because that's not true. So, any event, that's what I wanted to do. And the person who wrote this, sent this to me, knows who you are, and I purposely, didn't want to say anything. But we can work on this. But I wanted to use this in the sample. I asked permission to use this as a sample. I was granted permission, so thank you for doing that. We went through it very quickly. I understand that, but now we're going to back off and see if we can sculpt it down to something that makes sense. So, like it always does, time flies by. There we go. Incidentally, what you're going to hear about, folks, you're going to hear about raising prices here, but not for you guys. Remember, you're grandfathered in. There's going to be no price raises for you guys, but I'm going to increase the price because I'm putting more stuff up on the website. I'm loading my boot camp up now. And for your information, I sold that boot camp for $499, but it's going to be up on the website for you to click through. Modular form, pretty cool. There's going to be like 25, 30 modules, all access to you, same fee. Don't get excited. You're grandfathered in. And let's see. Let me see what the sales letter point two should be planning you rather than you 203 sales kickoff. Sales letter, okay. Sales letter point two should be planning your rather than you. Okay, well anyway, that's probably a grammatical error there. Does anybody have any input on to do anything? Did a lot of talking, a lot of fast talking today. This will be loaded up. It'll take a long time to load this up, I'm sure. But maybe tomorrow it'll be up on the website. Anybody? Let me see. I'm going into the question area. Thank you, Joe, for that kind remark. Okay, all right. Okay, Roberta, you sent me an email. I'll take a look at that right after lunch. I'm going to go grab a sandwich. Anybody else, last chance? I want to thank you for coming to the sales meeting today. Hope we got something out of it. Keep the cards and letters coming. Oh, here's one here. I'm going to end this on this. I wasn't going to do this. This is a personal note. I got personal bad news this morning, some very, very bad news. I'm going to not tell you exactly what it was, but I'm going to tell you this, folks. There's a lot of people out there, and a lot of people need kindness more than you think they do. They put up a happy front. A lot of people, the people are fragile. I said that before, and they put up their face and they put up their front. And I really want you to do this. I really want you to write those Friday notes because it means a lot to the person you send it to. You don't know how much it means. You have no idea how much it means. Nobody does it. I had a close associate of mine, my early boss. I mean, my boss. He was my boss in the early days. I mean, I know that I love the guy. We talk each other on the email. He was on top of the way. He committed suicide. That's what happened. And I just found out this morning. And he was fragile, but he put on a great front. He got on a good face, but people weren't calling him back. He thought his friends weren't there for him. Just be good to your people. Be good to your family. Be good to your friends. You think they're under control. They may not be. You just do what you need to do. It was devastating, this news today that I got. And I want to just share that people are fragile and they need to know good people. And you are good people. But just understand, you have to go out and do what you got to do. So send those thank you notes. Listen to people. Let them talk. Let them unwind. Let them vent. Who better than venting than you? People are fragile today. They're putting up a good front, and you don't know what's going on. So you be there for them because I think they need you. So that being said, okay, that's all off the soapbox. I'm going to hang up. I'm going to go have some lunch now, and I got a lot of things I got to think about this afternoon. You do the same. Have a good day. Thanks for coming to the program, and talk to you next time. That's the end of this. Okay, thanks.